So today I'm going to talk about getting better funding for early learning programs. 41% of Nebraska's youth ages 0 to the age of 5 is at risk of failing cognitively and social emotionally. So that means of the 155,000 kids that we have in Nebraska of those ages, there are about 61,000 that are at risk of failing. In Madison County alone, there are 1,500 kids at risk of failing. That's 52% of our 5 and unders that are going to fail school or could potentially. As an early childhood educator, I am so impassioned by what we could do now to better our future in Nebraska. So I'm going to share with you some ways that we can support that and also explain to you next why our government is failing our young learners. Our legislature and government is currently either denying funding or cutting funding from our early learning programs. With that funding not there, we're not giving kids quality experiences. We're not able to staff centers. Nobody wants to work for pennies. Early childhood educators, so child care centers, daycares, that is one of the lowest paid education jobs out there. So by not giving them more funding, we're actually cutting back that quality. Representative Kolowski probably said that wrong, but he started a couple different bills in our legislature this year, and one of them was to help teachers. It would help to calculate how we would fund those early learning programs. And it sounded like a great bill because then we could totally afford to pay teachers more. We could buy more supplies. We could have better environments. Unfortunately, that's been tabled indefinitely. Children right now are eligible for school for free education at the age of 5. And it was proposed to bring that age level down to the age of 3 to give better access to those early learning programs to low-income families. And that has been indefinitely postponed as of April this year. So what could we do better? Well, there are 2 different programs in the state of Nebraska that try to help with building up centers. So Step Up to Quality is a program that my center actually takes part in. So there's different levels, and you have to meet different criteria in the different levels. So it's things like the environment. What does the environment look like? What are the kids playing with? What are the teachers certified with? What are their trainings? Those things. There is a whole list of things that centers have to go by to get the funding from Step Up to Quality. Then certain steps have certain, I believe it's step 3, you get to a certain level where you start getting funding for your teachers. Your center, you get grants and proposals and bonuses and tax cuts for teachers. Like, as a mom, would love to pay less taxes because my kids are expensive. So if I could get a tax cut and be recognized for the things that I am spending out of my own pocket for my classroom, that would be fantastic. So it's just a great program. Then there's the 6 Pence Early Learning Fund, and it's a Nebraska fund that actually helps high-risk kiddos or centers that serve those high-risk kiddos to get more funding for their programs. So a large portion has to be either low income, qualify for free or reduced lunches, low birth weight, single moms, those kinds of things, and then they'll get funding. So those are 2 of my favorite programs from Nebraska that I've had personal experience with. So what would this do for us? This would do so much for Nebraska. We would see a decline in our prison population, which invest now when it's good. We would have less crime in the future, and we wouldn't. Our tax dollars would be going to something good than to supporting prison life. Like, that would be so fantastic. Then we would have stronger, more well-adjusted workforce. In my last talk, I talked about how workers are just more well-adjusted when they start at an early learning program as opposed to just jumping right into kindergarten. They have more social skills. They're more emotionally stable. They know how to work through all those complex emotions that kiddos are just battling with on a daily basis. And we would have a stronger state economy. We would save so much money in special education that we would have more money for the things that we need. So what can you do? Well, if you're a parent, seek out those step up to quality programs. If you have low income, or if you know someone who does, seek out those sixpence funded centers. Those are fantastic places because they're regulated. And we just need to advocate. Push not only with our peers, but our government. If you see a local official, just say something. Start that conversation. Start that push for an early learning so we're not paying for it later.